streaming from the 22 News Broadcast Center. This is 22 News at 4 p.m. Digital Edition.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for 22 News at 4. I'm Nick Oresko. We're working for you on this digital platform covering the top stories making headlines at this hour. But first, a look at your commuter traffic and weather. 22 Newsroom team meteorologist Brian Lapis standing right next to me. Brian, nice day today. I actually got outside before going to the station this afternoon to do some yard work. Beautiful afternoon for it.
Yeah, and we've got a look outside right now. In fact, we're sprinkling new things in every day here on our newscast here at 4 o'clock.
In for a treat.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty fantastic. Look at this, our Skyview 22 drone giving you a look at I-91 here approaching Springfield from Longmeadow, Forest Park area. Captain Adam Stremko, just one of Adam's many, many talents. He's the hardest working man in show business, by the way. He's piloting our drone for you today as you get a look at the traffic flowing here on I-91, north and southbound, as it approaches Springfield from Forest Park. There's a lovely, we could take the view in, right? Looks great. Beautiful day, and the sun is shining. The drone has got visual flight rules. No, Adam didn't need to file an instrument flight plan for this afternoon's flight here in the greater Springfield, Forest Park, and Longmeadow Metroplex. Let's take a look at temperatures. Oh, actually, we're going to go to traffic first. Yes. No, we'll go to traffic, Nick. Can we go to the traffic? The map? The traffic map? All right, there it is. Thank you very much. All right, so I checked with Mass DOT before we started this newscast, and no problems, really. No significant construction or accident problems. A little bit of a slowdown here at I-291 where it merges with I-91, but that's not unusual for this time of day. And you can see here that the Mass Pike is running fine. Downtown Springfield looking good. Just the usual slowdowns in the usual spots. So traffic should be fine. Now let's take a look at temperatures, can we? And you can see we've touched 80 degrees here in a couple of spots. Greenfield at 80, 81 today in Springfield, and 80 in Westfield. Keep in mind that our average high temperature for this time of May is 67 degrees. So the sunshine has helped us go way above average. Clouds aren't too far away, though. You can see them just to our north. What's going to happen is that our weather pattern is going to shift here later on this evening, and we're going to get a breeze out of the northeast. That's going to cloud us over and cool us down for tomorrow. And I have mixed news for the weekend, which I'll share with you in just a couple of minutes.
New developments today in the two cold cases here in western Massachusetts. First, human remains found in the Franklin County town of Warwick 35 years ago have now been identified. The Northwestern DA today identified the remains as 65-year-old Constance Holminski Basignani, a resident of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. She was last seen on Memorial Day in 1989. Her limbs were found about a month later along Route 78 in Warwick. Investigators were able to identify her through forensic genetic genealogy. 22 News anchor Taylor Knight will have an in-depth look at today's developments on 22 News at 6. Closure today for the family of 10-year-old Betty Lou Zukowski, whose killing has gone unsolved for nearly 60 years. Today, convicted sex offender Donald Mars pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter in connection to her death. He was arrested back in 2022 at the age of 73. Zukowski was last seen alive, leaving her home in Chicopee in May of 1966. Her body was found 4 days later near the Westfield River in West Springfield. We'll hear from Betty Lou's family tonight on 22 News starting at 5.
Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is.
President Biden addressing the protests at college campuses nationwide today, saying he supports freedom of speech, but it's not a right to cause chaos. These comments come as police crack down on encampments that show solidarity with Gaza. Student protests have reached a boiling point as administrators turn to police to clear the demonstrations. Students plan to keep protesting until the U.S. cuts off support for Israel. Former President Donald Trump is back in New York for his hush money trial after 2 campaign rallies in key swing states. The judge heard arguments this morning that the former president further violated his gag order. He was seen calling the judge crooked and conflicted at his rally in Michigan. Trump has already been fined $9,000 for online posts that the judge ruled attacked witnesses and jurors. He has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. Now let's get another check of weather with Brian Lapis. No drone footage, but we have a skycast up.
Yeah, we do. And I'm starting to focus the forecast now on the weekend. Hampshire Pride is happening on Saturday. Assorted events happening over the weekend. Sunday, we've got the Daffodil Run in Amherst and whatever you've got planned here for the weekend. We could be dealing with some rain, but in the meantime, it's bright. Notice 5 o'clock here this evening. If you've got athletic activities, working in the garden, running errands this evening, you're in good shape. Just a few scattered clouds here through 8 o'clock tonight. Temperatures will be in the 60s and even 70s through sunset. And as we move through the overnight hours, you can see the clouds descending on the valley here. That breeze out of the northeast is going to bring that moist air in, and it's going to settle into the valley. So overcast and potentially a little foggy here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. But watch what happens. By noontime, we're into the sunshine, and then a few more clouds start to push in here from the west during the middle of the day. So I'm going to call it a mixture of sun and clouds here for tomorrow. It's a dry day with high temperatures cooler in the 60s, and tomorrow evening looks dry as well. We may run into some rain, though, over the weekend. We'll talk about that in further detail on 22 News at 5.
Artists from Universal Music Group will be returning to TikTok as the two parties struck a new licensing agreement following an almost 3-month-long dispute. In January, the UMG did not agree to the app's new conditions and stopped licensing content from the artists they represent. This new deal includes the two companies working together to find new opportunities and create campaigns supporting UMG's artists. Southwest Airlines will now offer a travel voucher of at least $75 to customers whose flights are delayed or canceled. The U.S. DOT announcing that the airline is required to provide compensation following the 2022 holiday meltdown that stranded millions of passengers across the country. Passengers can apply for a voucher through an online form. It must be submitted within 1 year of the delayed or canceled flight. Now for a look at what we're working on for 22 News starting at 5 tonight. The search for a new superintendent in Springfield continues. Tonight, we'll have the latest remarks from Mayor Dominic Sarno about this ongoing process. And fire departments are hurting for volunteers. 22 News anchor Taylor Knight spoke with the chief in Chester about how bad the issue is here in western Massachusetts. Plus, see how all this rain is affecting local golf courses.
Here's a quick check of traffic once again, and we're looking pretty good. Green lines up and down the valley, and that means that traffic is flowing freely. There are a few slowdowns. I mentioned earlier 291 as the 291 empties out into I-91 South. That's running a little bit slow, but that's not unusual for this time of day. So as you prepare for the evening commute, traffic looking predictable. Let's put it that way. We'll talk about the weekend's weather on 22 News at 5.
Brian, thank you, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for 22 News at 4. Join us on TV tonight starting at 5. You can get all your local news and weather updates from Brian Lapis. And hey, look at that, the drone video right there live. Anytime on wwlp.com, latest news and weather, and on the 22 News app.